What are the smallest stakes you've had in a campaign? Delivered divorce papers from a centaur to a horse. Unfortunately, this somehow resulted in a PC death. Oh god! A knight NPC was trying to impress a single mother by entertaining her child. The PCs took the child on an epic pretend adventure, returning her wholly satisfied to her mom at the end of the day. My players still ask about them sometimes, even now that they've slain epic monsters and saved the kingdom. Did Sir Norman ever get together with Miss Baker? Not a whole campaign, but a one-shot where the mission was to protect a glass of water. However, each player was secretly tasked with the same hidden objective: drink the glass of water. We were in Sigil trying to beat a rival adventuring party to a specific portal. The portal key was a marzipan duck. We had a marzipan duck, they had a marzipan duck. We cast the reverse of purify food and drink on their marzipan duck. Things escalated quickly. The Battle of the Marzipan Duck is still sung of in the taverns and inns of the City of Doors. My players got sidetracked when the very low charisma Cleric decided to run for mayor of the small town they had just helped to save. I had no plans for an actual competitive political race, since I intended for the party's benefactor to prop up a local and her new girlfriend as a sure-win candidate. We delayed moving on to the next leg of the adventure to run an impromptu political campaign. The Cleric was rolling surprisingly well until the main campaign speech, where he used an item I had given him to improve his charisma rolls and gain advantage. Then the dice gods intervened. He rolled 2 3s. True to his character, his speech veered from boasting about his triumphs saving the town to full-on preaching about his god. He didn't win, but he managed to convert 3 bandits to good, gaining them as a new entourage for future quests. The party also got statues of themselves in the new town square. So there's that. I run games for younger kids a lot. One of the more memorable ones was when they gathered special ingredients to bake a cake for an old lady NPC in a hut in the woods. Not quite a bake sale, but it was close. They collected milk from a magic cow, flowers from a floating island. I tried explaining that flour isn't flowers, but gave up. Sparkles from a unicorn and sugar from fairies. Needless to say, the Hansel and Gretel themed campaign went a bit off the rails. I even got to use my reoccurring NPC, a nice ogre always named after kitchen hardware, when they realized they didn't know how to bake. Once had a group of scoundrels hired as security for Lord Pigeron's dinner party. They ended up holding off a Die Hard style assassination plot for 3 sessions without ruining the dinner courses or ball dances. That is amazing. My bard danced with Lady Lariel to get close to a suspicious waiter. After the ball, Pigeron had a drink with us during the debrief. We were mostly dungeon-crawling murder hobos in our games back then, so playing a party that rolled mental skills and kept combats quick and quiet was a ton of fun. This was all so the Richie Rich could enjoy their wine and politics, and they could live another day. The lowest stakes session in one of my campaigns had my players hosting a job fair for non-combatant NPCs to join their guild and run the base's normal operations while they were away. They ended up hiring a demon with a southern accent as their cook, an ex-professional soldier as their butler, a cool lumberjack guy, a quintet of kobold merchants known as the Pockets, and a few others. In our current campaign, we were sent by a powerful baron to find and return his cat, which he assumed had been kidnapped or catnapped. Turns out the cat was both magical and way too smart. It spent the entire last session trolling us like the Roadrunner. We smuggled ourselves into a city disguised as refugees. My friend ran an adventure where we were level 1 with no class, no weapon, and only just a few proficiencies. It was high stakes, considering my character was just a slightly above average intelligence Kodiak bear. Had a rather large man in a tavern, of course, recruit the party to help plunder a treasure hoard he knew about. Well, we got to the dungeon, snuck in and opened the vault, only to find a giant counting the treasure. The giant turned to us and said, "Junior! What are you and your little friends doing here?" Junior replied, "Aw, Dad, we're just playing adventurers." "Aw, dude, that is so adorable." One time, the party really wanted our fighter to do a sick ollie on his skateboard to impress some guy. Our druid cast guidance, my bard used bardic inspiration, and we all chipped in. He did the ollie. It was super important. Not even to impress a girl or anything. Good on you for landing that one. My party stumbled upon an innocent cafe in the woods that used druidic magic to bake happy memories into pastries. Turns out the cafe was from the Feywild, and as soon as you crossed the doorway, the fairy assistants used Fey magic and Looney Tunes-style hijinks to keep people from leaving. I ran a session where the players wandered around a festival trying out carnival games and contests. It was basically a filler episode since 2 players couldn't make it to the session, but it was a lot of fun. Watching the characters use their mighty abilities to win pie-eating contests or pick the correct cup was hilarious. As a player, I once had a session where we worked at a bakery delivering cakes. Agents from a rival bakery tried to sabotage us. All that drama over cakes! Now, I don't remember why we needed to do it, but my party once rolled a giant stinky wheel of cheese through town. It required athletics checks to push it, constitution saves to resist the smell, and dexterity saves to avoid being run over by the cheese. That was such a fun session. I once ran a one-shot where the characters were kidnapped and their familiars had to rescue them. Naturally, the players role-played as their familiars instead of their characters. It was a fun summer session. Sometimes we organize things like this when the other players are on vacation. The party heard rumors about a local town hosting a stump festival. They were super excited for all the Lumberjack-themed games, log rolling, tree climbing, axe throwing, and of course, tree chopping. Very early in a campaign, an apocalypse-grade earthquake struck the city during a cheese festival. The earth split the town into giant crevices, leading to hell. Our party ended up stranded on a small island with a baby whose mother was crying out from the other side of the crevasse. Molten cheese was flowing around us, but an airship appeared overhead for rescue. I turned to the strong fighter in the party, handed him the baby, and said, "We can't run off with it in front of the mom. You gotta chuck that baby, dude." Oh my god. The fighter rolled a 20. Another lucky roll meant the mom caught the baby, escaping safely while the airship saved the rest of us just in time. Many sessions and 6 levels later, the DM revealed that the baby we saved was a super-powered wonderkind meant to become our party's savior. Instead, we'd been slogging through battles, barely surviving, not realizing why everything was so difficult. Now we have to find this kid and convince her to join us. The initial interaction went so smoothly. Save the baby! But the DM later said, "You could have just taken her with you. I wasn't going to let her get harmed if you rolled poorly. Should have just kept the baby." One time my party broke into the basement of a noble to kill rats because, well, they were guarding his wine. Now, we did have a key, but the person tasked with opening the door was an intelligence 4 barbarian who literally beat the door down with the key. We ended up befriending the rats and drinking all the wine with them before continuing our quest to get our ship off the side of a mountain. We need explanation for that. Once we went to investigate a ghost rumor in an Onkarel cemetery. It turned out to be just a scared kid with minor psychic powers. Well, my barbarian couldn't let her stay on the street. She had no one. So we took her with us for the night, and I begged the scholars of the Cobalt Soul to take her in as an apprentice. She eventually became the guardian of my sentient baby cactus when I was out adventuring, the recipient of my will when we left for Kael Moro, and an important part of my responsibilities until the end. I guess my impulse purchase of a magic seed at the market, resulting in the growth of a sentient cactus that needed care to survive, was also one of the lowest stakes moments of this campaign. First campaign, killing guards. Second campaign, becoming guards. Third campaign, taking down a corrupt billionaire businessman. Oh, this can't go well. Our DM says we're about 10 to 20 sessions away from the end of this campaign. We dawdle, so it's 10 if we're efficient. Realistically, though, it's about 20. They're already planning the next one. To bridge the gap, we're doing a relatively short pre-made campaign while our DM preps the longer-term one. I think the short one is called Terrors of Deep Frost Citadel. From what I know, it's a dungeon crawler where we go in, get loot, and get out alive. But of course, there's probably more to it than that. I also had a short one-on-one campaign that sadly ended early. My character was just trying to reunite with his wife and son. The stakes were relatively low, but the motivation was really personal, and it was a lot of fun. I'm still super sad we just couldn't finish it. I wrote a random encounter that simply said, 3 men are outside a bar, all dressed the exact same. They are arguing about who should go home and change. What? I expected nothing of it, just a funny mental image, but the PC started betting on who would cave first. This escalated into them egging the men into fighting each other when no one backed down. Then the party got involved, then the city guard got involved. Now one of the men is in prison. I know you asked for low-stakes stories, but this one started low and snowballed out of control. We had a fishing session. It was supposed to be a simple downtime activity by the river in the town we were visiting. One of the PCs, a tabaxi artificer, was teaching my warlock, a water genasi, how to fish the normal way since she was used to the underwater version. This turned into a scene. My warlock water skiing behind a giant fish she caught on her line thanks to her water walking ring. The artificer panicked, trying to help. Meanwhile, our skeleton cleric decided to part the river with control water. This gave my warlock disadvantage on her rolls to keep the fish on the line, and yes, the fish eventually got away. Damn it! Our dragonborn paladin laughed hysterically while watching the chaos. Nearby townsfolk, however, started to grow concerned. Meanwhile, our elf fighter was just chilling at the inn with some of our NPC companions. One of them, who was another skeleton cleric, best friends with our PC skeleton cleric, they're both life domain but serve opposite deities, had a magical necklace that let him see what the other wearer, our PC cleric, was up to. When the elf asked what we were doing, the skeleton NPC casually said, "I'm sure they're fine." Hey everyone, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know down in the comments below what are the smallest stakes you've had in a campaign. And of course, if you ever want to help out the channel, a small stake here is joining our membership program. You get early access to videos and maybe more. We're working on that, I promise. I love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.